Hi. So, kind of random, but last night I was trying to read and then I was looking at my desk. And if you don't know, I have like this little nook where all my books are. And they were really unorganized, so I cleaned that. But I also don't know what my TBR is for the year, and I'm trying to separate it. So I thought with this video I can really see which books I have that are on my TBR and my TBD TBR. So, hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today, I really just want to tackle all of the books that I have. I have like 4 piles. I really want to tackle going through all the books that I have, seeing which ones are going to be on my TBR and TBD TBR, just so I can see which ones I want to read in the next month or a couple months, and which ones I don't really plan on reading anytime soon. I also want to put all of these books on my book journal, because in my book journal I have a bookshelf. I have a TBR and a TBD TBR, and depending on which books that are on my TBR and my TBD TBR, some of them I do have to buy, so I also have a bookshelf for that. My book journal is on my iPad, so I'm pretty much going to be digitally putting all of these books in throughout the year. Let's get straight into it. The first book I have here is The Long Game by Elena Armas. I had read the Spanish Love Deception by her last year, and I really loved her writing. It was super fast paced. I finished it in like 2 days. It was amazing, so I really wanted to get into her, so this is going on my TBR. The next book I have is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is a series that needs no introduction, but I take any reviews on this series or The Crescent City or ACOTAR like the plague. I really try and scroll away because I love being, I like being kind of clueless whenever I read books. I don't want to know a lot of information. I didn't even know the first book, ACOTAR, was a Beauty and the Beast retelling until after I had read the book and started watching videos on it. So I really want to get into this hopefully next month or in the next couple months, because I still have to read ACOTAR, but definitely my TBR. Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly. I got this as a gift, and this is supposed to be a Snow White retelling. I think it's like a hunter-huntress kind of thing. Well, this is definitely going on my TBR, just because it seems very interesting and I think I could tackle that soon. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This year I do want to really read classics more, and at least once a month. Maybe I'll do a video where I read as many classics I can in about a week, or in general. So this one's going on my TBR because I think I want to read this one this month before January ends. I'm with Cupid by Anna Stanisławski. Wow. Anna Stanisławski. That's one name, but funny story. I had gotten this I think in like 6th grade, and I have yet to read it. And since February is coming up, I feel like I should put this on my TBR just because it's like barely 200 pages. So I can just get it out of the way and see why my little brain thought it would be interesting. The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funk. I think that's how you say that. This seems pretty interesting. I don't know. I remember reading the back and I was like, oh, it sounds pretty good. It's like an adventurous, kind of book. The main character is like 13. I feel like if I ever need something, not really a lot of brain power, I would read this. I'll put it on my TBD TBR. The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. I was reading the back of this and this actually did sound interesting. This was also like searching for an adventure, lost treasure kind of book. I've never really read a book like that, so I want to put this on my TBR. And it's an author that I've never heard of, so I'm gonna put this on my TBR. The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. I used to love this movie when I was a kid, so I definitely want to read this book to see the difference because I know, everyone knows if you're a reader, that the book is normally better than the movie because it's more detailed, and most of the time the movies kind of change a lot of things. So I'm really excited to read this book. Fun fact, I actually got this from my middle school. So most of these books that are just like random and old, kind of beat up, are from my middle school. So yeah. TBR. For sure going on my TBR. R.I.P. Eliza Hart by Alyssa Sheenmel. I had DNF'd this book when I first started reading it, and I don't know if I'll ever read it again. I do plan on making a video about all the books I have DNF'd though. So, TBD, TBR, because maybe I'll make a video of me trying to reread them. Who knows? Star Wars Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. Another book I also DNF'd. In middle school, I was really into Star Wars, so I can understand why I got it, but I don't even remember anything about it. I couldn't tell you anything about what I read. I only read up to like page 100 something. So, well, TBD, TBR. I Survived, the graphic novel by Lauren Tarshish. If you're any reader, you have read at least one I Survived book when you were like 9. And the fact that this is a graphic novel just makes it 10 times better. This is going to be going on my TBR. So yeah. And it's not really long. The Accidental Werewolf by Dakota Cassidy. I don't even know how I messed that up. But I know this is a movie. I tried watching the movie when I was a kid, and I got like 10 minutes in, and that's it. I couldn't finish it. I read the back, and then I actually knew what it was about. So now I want to read it, because actually I think I'm thinking of another movie. Am I thinking about another movie? I'm thinking of The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. That's what I'm thinking of. Is this even a movie? Hold on, now I'm confused. So this is only a book. I don't know why I mixed up. I mean, I can understand why I mixed it up. But this is not a movie, this is a book. I was thinking of The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. This sounds really interesting, and I'm going to put it on my TBR for sure. Oh, when I had first read the title of this, I was like, go ask Alice Anonymous. But this author is anonymous. That's their name, or what they're going by. And I thought this was really interesting. There's 5 million copies, or more than that. It's supposed to be like a thriller kind of thing. I'm trying to get into that. I know I'm not big on it, but I do want to broaden the genres that I read, so that is definitely going on my TBR. Other Bound by Karine Dugas. Guys, I'm dyslexic. I can't. I want to say I said that right. This story, when I read it, summary that they have here, it sounded so interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book like this. I haven't read a lot of books in general. I think I've only read like 30 in my whole life, so it's not like I have a lot of experience, but this sounded really interesting. It was about a guy and a girl, how they're in different like worlds or dimensions, and every time I think the guy blinks, he goes into her world, seeing through her eyes, and apparently it's like a time travel kind of thing, and I've never read anything like that. I'm definitely gonna put this on my TBR, because that sounds interesting. Sounds new. Oh my gosh. So, funny story. I had bought in this book, and then like a month later, I realized that it was the second book to a 6-book series. And I was so mad because I never ended up getting the first one. But this is Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa. For some reason, I love it when Kagawa, I love that name, or last name. But you need to tell me if it's worth it, because I want to read it, but I've bought so many books, and it's only January for the new year, obviously, but I'm going to put this on my TBR. Just because I need to get the whole series before I need to get the first book before I can even start it. So, The next book I have is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I definitely want to start this, hopefully this month, because yes, everyone's been telling me about it. I've been seeing so many things about it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, so this definitely is going to be put on my TBR. I also bought the second book, another thing I bought this year for, you know, new year, new books kind of thing. And that's definitely going on my TBR. The next stack I have here, I have Out of Time by Caroline B. Cooney. I read the back and it's supposed to be like, it's a story about this girl who's a time traveler and she has to choose between saving her family or her soulmate. And it's a quick read, so I thought it would be interesting. Another book I got from my middle school. Putting this on my TBR. I've had it for so long. And maybe I'll put it on my February TBR, I don't know. The Distance Between Lost and Found by Catherine Holmes. I don't know if I want to read this anytime soon. It sounded interesting, but also boring. It sounded like it would be slow, but it doesn't seem that long. I'm going to put it on my TBD TBR just because I'm still not too sure of when I would want to read this book. Acting by Richard Boleslawski. Yes. I put my name on the top of this, but I got this when I was young. I'm going to put this on my TBD TBR. I never even finished it. But yeah. It's just like an acting book. Black Enough by Ibi Zoboe. I think that's how you say it. This is a book I was supposed to read my 8th grade year, but then we ended up switching the book. And when I first started reading it, it didn't seem that bad, but I didn't get that far. But I have a little tab here. It's just the most randomest thing. I used to do that a lot, just use random things as my bookmark. I only got to page 42. I'm going to put on my TBD TBR just because it was for school. These next two books are for school too. Dear Haiti, Love Elaine by Mecca Melouet. Yeah. I also started it. Got a little halfway. It was for like my summer reading. It was for school, so you know I never finished that. But it seemed pretty interesting. If I remember, I think I did a project on it. And then Call Me American by Abdi Noor Iftin. I think this guy just like falls in love with America or something. I even highlighted and underlined, asked some questions so I can get an A. When I started reading this, I thought it was really sad, but it's a memoir, and I do want to read more of those, like diaries and memoirs, so I'm going to put on my TBD TBR just because it was for school and I don't even think I'm ever going to pick it up again, but maybe I will. And it's pretty, so I'm going to keep it on my bookshelf. But The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, aged 13 3/4. This is a diary. I got it from my school, but I picked up this book and I took it home with me because I read Anne Frank and I loved it. I finished it in like a day. I wanted something similar to that, and I just thought they're kind of similar in age, so I'm gonna put this on my TBR. I think. Yeah, it's like a quick read. The Glass Republic by Tom Pollock. Apparently, I just saw this right now, but this is the second book of a series. So I can't even put this on my TBR. I'll have to put this on my TBD TBR, even though I know I put it on my TBR at first, just because it's the second book and I just realized that now. Aragon by Christopher Paolini. My brother has the cover of like the eye. I don't even know if it's a movie or a show, but it has pictures, so maybe it's a movie. It like bends perfectly right in the middle. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to this book, considering how I don't even know. I'll put this on my TBD TBR to see how that goes. This is a book, I have no idea what it's about, but it's called Green Mansion by Hudson. Yeah. It's gotten pretty beat up. But I'm gonna put this on my TBD TBR just because I don't even know anything about it. Oh my gosh, these three books are all in a series, and I only have 3 and there's 6 books in the series. So I'm putting this on my TBD TBR just because I can't. I need to get the rest of the books. And these 3 books are just in a random order. Like, I have the first, second, I think I have the last. So, yeah. Well, the next pile I have here. Oh, okay. I have Unbreakable by Gami Garcia. This is a ghost book about her mother's death, how she finds out that it's not an accident, and she figures out that ghosts are real and whatnot. I thought this was pretty interesting, so I definitely want to put this on my TBR. The next book I have here is The Hobbit. I have yet to watch any of the movies, The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, and obviously I've never read the books. I want to do that. Do I want to do it this year? Maybe not. Maybe. TBD TBR, just because I'm not too sure. But another classic. The Turncoat's Gambit by Andrea Kramer. When I read the little summary that it has, I thought it was so interesting because the Capitol's trying to find her, and she's trying to run away from the revolution, or she's a part of the revolution. Oh yeah, she's trying to run away from the revolution, and she got herself involved with pirates and whatnot. So I thought this was an interesting read to get into, to see. I'm really trying to see what different things I am into when it comes to books, so I'm going to put this on my TBR. A Curse Dark as Gold by Elizabeth C. Bunce, I think. This seemed really interesting. It was like a Lost Princess kind of medieval, and I thought it would be interesting to read hopefully next month. Winter Girls by Lori Helse Anderson. I read the back of this and I think I want to wait until I'm in the mood for like young adult but dark, if that makes sense. It's about her best friend dying and how she's haunting her, and apparently they used to be super competitive, kind of like those frenemy vibes, so we'll see how that goes. This is going on my TBD TBR, even though it sounds really interesting. And this is getting kind of stacking up. What Waits in the Water by Kieran Scott. Kieran? I think this is the second book of a series, so I have to get the first one. I also got this when I was in middle school. I think I was in 7th grade. I'm not sure when I'm gonna read this. Maybe for Halloween, maybe sooner. It's going there though. Scarlet by Marissa Mayer. I'm pretty sure this is the second book. This is also a series, and I'm pretty sure it's like 6 books. So I have to wait to get the first one and the rest of the series. So this is also going on my TBD TBR, just because I don't have all the books, even though it sounds so interesting. Tuesdays with Maury. An Old Man, a Young Man, and Life's Greatest Lesson. Mitch Albom. I have no idea what this is about. And the back doesn't give me anything. I think it might be a memoir about a student or something. I'll put this on my TBD TBR and maybe I'll open it one day and try and see what it's about. Romeo and Juliet by a man who needs no introduction. Shakespeare. I'm gonna put this on my TBR just because I know I need to read this book. I also know it's really boring, according to a lot of people. So we'll see how that goes. The City of Ember by Gian Dupra. I think this is supposed to be a series because it says it's the first book. Oh, it says it's science fiction. I've never read science fiction, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to put this in the TBR. Oh my gosh, The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. This is going on my TBD TBR, just because it's a whole series. I've watched the movie, so I want to read the book, just not right now. I'm really trying to see how many books I can put before it actually starts tipping over. The Alchemist by Paolo Coelho. Let's say I said that right. My accent coming in. I have no idea what it's about. Also, it's this guy trying to find treasure, and it's in the Egyptian desert, and he's from Spain. Oh, the back has a quote. To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation, from The Alchemist. TBR. This sounds interesting. I know I don't seem very interested in it, just because, I don't know. Okay, so this is the last stack I have. Call on the Stars by Sally Prue. This book, the summary is about this guy who's an outcast from his own tribe, and he ends up going to the demon city. And then he finds these two demons that are like twins. And then he has to ask for their help. Apparently it's a fantasy adventure kind of book. I guess it's the book that you just read in one sitting. It seems pretty interesting and it got a lot of praise. So I'm going to put this on the TBR. Spring Snow by Yukio Mishima. This book, I've had it for so long, but it's set in Tokyo and it's like a little romance. So I definitely want to put this on my TBR for next month. Oh my gosh. Renegades by Marissa Mayer. I've mentioned her name before. But this book in 2023 got a lot of attention. Apparently it was a top reads that you just need to read for the year. So I'm definitely going to put this on my TBR. This isn't even my book, it's my brother's, but he doesn't read anymore, so I took it. Kind of scared. But it works. It's staying. The Sea of Monsters, Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. I'll put this on my TBD TBR. People will tell me what you think about the movie, because a lot of people have conflicting feelings, and I want to read the book. So maybe I'll get the first and second book, and then I'll get the first book of the graphic novel, since I have the second one. That was also my brother's. The Castle of Lear by Lloyd Alexander. I got this from my school. I think it's like a literary fiction kind of book. Oh, cool. This sounds interesting. I'm going to put this on my TBR. Oh, I think this is a series. Oh, I think it's the third book. Oh my gosh, let me look it up. Because it says it's a part of the Chronicles of Prydain. I think it's just a part of a world that this guy built. The author. I'm not sure. Yeah, it says book 3. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on my TBD TBR. Because it's apparently 5 books, and I have the third one. Okay. Summer of My German Soldier by Betty Green. If you couldn't tell, I got this from my school as well. My middle school. Oh, so it's set in World War II. That sounds cool. I want to say I want to put this on my TBR, but I've never one that reads about war that I have to do for school. And it's about 2 kids who are, one's Jewish and one's German. So I'm gonna put this on my TBD TBR, which I have a lot of books on my TBD TBR. Frederick Hans Peter Reiter. Oh, it's a Holocaust book. I have a lot of books like that. Yeah. I'm gonna, yeah. No. Oh, I have Percy Jackson. Okay, The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. I don't think I've ever seen this book, ever. I didn't even know this was on my bookshelf. Oh, so someone dies. So it's a murder mystery. What's that movie that came out? It was about this guy. It was a murder mystery movie. This is what that is. I'm gonna put this on my TBR. Fever 1793 by Laurie Halse Anderson. I'm probably never gonna read this book, I'm gonna be honest. This is going in the pile that I have here for my sister. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So I have the first book. There's a name under here. Thank you, Pedro. I guess. TBR. Because I've never read the book and I've only ever seen the movie. And I'm pretty sure people say the movie's bad. Who knows? I have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I definitely want to read the book. Maybe I should get a new one because it looks really banged up. This was also from my school, so you know why. But definitely putting this on my TBR. Daniel X by James Patterson and Ned Rust. So it's about a villain. I'm putting this in my TBD TBR. Okay. Okay, let me explain. The Bible. This is just a metaphor, as in I want to read the Bible, but I'm blind, so obviously I can't read tiny little words. It's just something I want to read, so since this is the only copy that I have, I need to get a bigger one. I plan on reading the Bible. That is a part of my TBR. Just something gradually. I read like a chapter a week or a day or every other day, I don't know. But City of the Beasts by Isabel Allende. Also, it's an adventurous mystery. It seems interesting. It's about this guy and his grandma going somewhere dangerous. I'll put this on my TBR. This seems like a book that I'd be interested in. I hope it's not a series. It better not be a series. I'm not even gonna look it up. Trouble Twisters by Garth Nix and Sean Williams. It's about these twins who, I guess, gain powers without knowing, and then they have to go to this grandma's house that they've never met before. And apparently she knows things. And a lot of new things are happening. I don't know if I'll ever read this book, so this is definitely going to my little sister. Hopefully she'll enjoy that. Fairest by Gail Carson Levine. This is the last book of the piles that I have. I'm just happy this hasn't tilted over or anything. I think, I remember wanting to really read this, so I'm going to put this on my TBR. Those are all the books I own, actually. Other than the ones that I've already read. These are all books that I have yet to read. But I want to. So that's kind of the point. Now, I have to put all of these books on my iPad. And then I'll come back to, I guess, show you what it looks like. And end off this video. Hi, so it is the next day. And I have successfully put in all of these books into my bookshelf in my book journal. And on my TBR and TBD TBR. I added them all up. I added the books that I have here, which is 54. But if I add the books that I want to read, that I need to buy, that are on my TBR, I counted 92. I'm sure I'm missing some books that I want to read. But for now, I feel like 92 is a good number for my TBR, especially since I know I'm inevitably going to buy more books, and if there's new releases, or if I'm broadening my interest on an author to get more books from them, who knows? I know I do really want to get into Colleen Hoover this year just because I've never read any of her books, and it's like a canon event for any reader. And I am planning on reading the entire Sarah J. Maas world, which is 16 books if we're in the future, with the third book from Crescent City already out. I definitely have my hands full. Excited. I'm really glad that I've gotten into reading how I have. So thank you for watching the video and seeing how many books I have in my TBR. If you haven't, subscribe, comment, like. I'm always down for more suggestions with books and whatnot. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.